everyone, welcome back to building my own casino in vanilla Minecraft using no command blocks. As you just saw, I decided to scrap my original Blackjack machine. Actually, I didn't completely do it, that was a copy. Here's the original. But the thing is, it was very slow, as those observers took forever to send signals. So what I did is I decided just to build another one. And that's that up there, and as you can see, it looks a little bit more clean. This one's kind of a spaghetti mess of different wires leading to different areas. Like, that wire didn't need to be that long, but this one looks a little bit more like a circuit board. And it kind of functions that way too, using like memory and stuff like that. More gate related instead of timing related. So this thing would wait constantly for I/O and for different signals to come through, while this one is more AND gates. Instead of waiting a certain amount of time, it would receive a signal, and signals travel a lot quicker than timers, because with the timers here, you just had to play it safe. So this one operates a lot quicker. I'll be diving into each part of this in future episodes, but I just wanted to tell you that I built a new one, and that's part of the reason why it took so long for another video to come out. I'm also a computer science student, so studying for, obviously, classes and stuff like that. During the summer, I worked full-time to pay for school and housing. So, yeah, I didn't really have time to output another video. And just to show you how much better version 2 is over version 1 of Blackjack, I'm going to put two videos side by side of myself playing 4 players, so player 1, player 2, player 3, and player 4, in both games, and show you which one's faster. This one also has a ton of flaws that I constantly have to leave and fix, because timing can differ based on how many items are moving through based on what cards have been given out, while this one is just a single input. So yeah, I'm going to put the two video clips side by side and a timer to show you how much quicker this one is than this one, and also I don't have any of the constant bugs that were plaguing this. So here we go. Alright, as you can see, this version has a lot more going for it. Believe it or not, it took me like 7 tries to get the video from playing a full game of Blackjack from version 1, because it just kept messing up so many times. And this one and done, obviously it works every single time. That was the main goal for doing this, as well as the time, because as you saw, that one took 7 minutes to complete a round of 4 players, while this one took 3. So that's over 2 times faster. And while I did get a bunch of video of me playing with 3 other people in this Blackjack, it took like 2 hours for us to play like 4 games, because I kept having to reset and set a bunch of different, once it receives an input, it'll be on, and it won't turn off until it receives another input. There was just something wrong with timings that kept causing that to mess up. So this one works every time. I've tested it multiple times. So, and I made the architecture run more like a CPU than the version 1 of Blackjack. So, yeah. This also, as you noticed, has a different 7-segment display. I guess you can't really call this one a 7-segment display anymore, because it has the borders. It has an R for ready once you put in your diamonds. The dealer has these 2 up here, so now it looks like an actual D instead of a 0. Then there's C, which stands for compare. That means the dealer successfully got between 16 and 21, and then there's a B for bust, if the dealer busts. Then you can either put all of your cards in here, and the beauty of this one is it resets automatically, so there is a lot less user input, so the machine relies on itself a lot more. And so let's say the reset's over, so you put your cards in here, then all of a sudden they can't drain because the reset's over. This is now being locked and ready to carry new cards once the next game starts. So that's when you just go over here, you have a card return right here, and it obviously goes right back into the system. So a lot faster, a lot less bugs, and it's a lot more reliable. So that's why I decided to scrap this whole idea and just build a new one. That one wasn't getting me anywhere, and it would have taken me a lot longer to break apart and replace every single component. So I basically copied and pasted just the room, because as I said in my previous videos, I'm no artist. So yeah, I didn't film myself making each one of these individual components, and that was mainly due to the fact that it would have taken me so much longer to get this done. I'd already put it off for as long as I wanted to, and recording each step and video editing was just going to take too long, and after I'd already started the series over there, building individual components, I didn't want to have to figure everything out on camera. For the future of the Blackjack videos, I'm going to create individual videos that show you what each component does. Maybe there will be like 1 or 2 components per video, just so that you can understand how it works and potentially recreate it in your own world. I'll probably create a downloadable file for this. So that's what's been happening in my incredibly long time off. We have a new Blackjack machine that runs over twice as fast, less bugs, less everything, and it, honestly, I love the look of the circuit board. It's just really cool to me. So for the remainder of this video, I will show one component off, and every video after this that is Blackjack related will be a couple of these components condensed, so that you can see what each part does. And then after that, I can call Blackjack done, and we can move on to the next part of the casino. Alright, we're going to start this with the white line that you see right here. There's 4 of these white lines. These are what I like to call the player point counters. I know they're not points, it's the summation of the card's worth altogether, but it is what stores the points that you get that'll later be either compared with the dealer or sent back if you bust. And as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's for the 4 players, 1 through 4. As you can see, I took out a little slice right here. Don't worry about this gray line. That's the dealer. We'll get into that a bit later. And here is the line that we're going to talk about, just this small white line. As you can see over there, we had a little spaghetti monster that used to be each player's register. Like each one of these white lines, these massive white lines, was the original player register, and it really didn't need to be that complex. This small white line does everything that does, and it's made quite a bit simpler. As you can see, there's these droppers right here. There's 8, 4, 2, and 1. This is a binary decoder. Every time you get a card, this black line will turn on with some value, and we'll get into that a bit later, but all you need to know is that it'll shoot out the right number. So like if you get a queen, these 8 and these 2 will fire, so that would be 10 points, and so that'll drop all this redstone that you see in the first, in these slots. And it'll get locked in this hopper right here through this torch. This torch is locking this hopper so nothing can flow through, so everything's getting stuck right here. This will stay locked until it receives a bust signal or a stay signal. Right here is the stay signal. Obviously this line will be powered. The red line is always what player it is. So if let's make sure that that's on for this example. And so this is right here, player input. If you decide to stay, like I said, you press the note block at the floor. This line will power on, and it'll go through here, and it'll push this down right here, and allowing this redstone signal to travel through, turning off this torch, allowing this hopper to unlock, letting items drain through this side. And if you reach signal length 2 here, this side will turn on, pushing this piston down, allowing this signal through, forcing the items down this side. This is going to basically recycle the items back into the system, while this one will allow the items to compare with the dealer. If you bust, I needed to be able to send a signal back saying, alright, we need to swap players so that it could be basically moved on automatically. So that's what this signal does. This signal goes back, changes the players, and we'll get into that a bit later. But I was having an issue where these 8 droppers would fire and this dropper would fire, and that would perfectly reach 22 items, pushing this to signal length 2, and then that dropper would eventually make its way back into it, firing this twice. It was a rare occurrence, but it would happen every once in a while. So I put in this toggle here that would fire an item into this, and it would send one signal out, and it can't send a single other signal out because this hopper is now locked with this monostable circuit, so basically it won't be able to send another signal until it turns off, and that's what this yellow line is. You see a lot of yellow out there, that's the reset signal. I'll be going into the reset signal's purpose for this, but until it receives a reset signal, this will stay out, and it can't send another signal, because once you bust, this player's done anyways. So once you reach 22 items, as you can see, there's a redstone repeater in here, because once you reach 23 items in a hopper, this will reach signal length 2. So that's why I have that one redstone repeater, because as soon as one more item goes in, you busted. So that'll turn on, pushing this down like I said. There's this item sorter right here that basically keeps this repeater locked in position so it doesn't flow through the system. Obviously there's redstone torches here and a repeater here, and once you bust or the stay command happens, there's this switch right here which allows the items to flow through, which I'll give a quick demonstration. So the bust will come in through here, the stay will come in through here, and this switch will turn on, unlocking this hopper so the items can drain through. Obviously the repeater will stay there because there's the item sorter down here, and they'll get locked in this chest. Like I said, this is the lost side and this is the stay side, and they'll go down to complete their journey, and we will all cover that later. Like this, for instance, is you lost signal, and then this down here is the if you stayed. Yeah, we'll cover all that in a later video. But I guess the only thing left for this white line is the resets. So we have this yellow line and that yellow line that we need to discuss. So this yellow line turns off this torch tower, which allows the item to drain back into this dropper. We should only have one in there. So that resets this, unpowers this mouse stable circuit, so it's ready for the next time around. Then this signal also pushes both of these pistons up, it doesn't matter which one, so that the glass block is in position everywhere, so the redstone signal can't travel through anymore. And lastly, there's this one right here. Now, we need a way to turn this switch off so that this hopper will be powered again. And in order to do that, we needed to have a signal come through that hits this line only if that player's played. Because if you only played, let's say, player 1 and player 4 played, we need only those 2 player counters to be reset. Because let's say player 2 didn't play, and it receives a signal here shutting it off, that'll actually turn it on. So we needed a way for it only the players who have played to receive a signal to shut off the switch. And that's what this is. Since this is on, turning off that torch, it turns off this torch as well, turning on this torch, which powers this piston right here, which allows a redstone signal to be sent down to basically reset the entire system. And let's say, like I said, player 2 wasn't playing, it'll just receive a signal and nothing will happen. So yeah, this is the white line, which acts kind of like a computer register, which is the player point counter. We'll see you in the next video.